Good morning, curious coders. This is Dan with Code Club, and this is an Espruino. You can see by the size of my fingers that this is a pretty small board. This is a microprocessor, and what makes the Espruino so cool is that we can communicate with it via USB and JavaScript. Now, the Espruino is available online through Adafruit or a number of other retailers. This is the big one. This one is for prototyping. You can see all of the different slots, holes in there that you could use for prototyping. Prototyping is just a fancy word for figuring out how things work. Like I said, we can communicate over USB. In this case, there's a tiny USB, that is a micro USB slot, and there's a slot for a memory card as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and plug in our micro USB, and then the board is plugged in. The next step is to open up Chrome. We installed Chrome in the last video, and we're going to Google Espruino Chrome extension. This should be the first on the list here. So when we click that, it takes us to the Chrome Web Store where we can add this application to Chrome. Now this is called the Espruino Web IDE, and IDE means Integrated Development Environment. So while this downloads, this is going to install into Chrome, so you can actually just click apps up here, and this is the list of apps that are currently installed in Chrome. When we hit the Espruino IDE, it opens this interface here. And what this gives us is two panes. Over here, it's basically a window into what's going on the board, and over here, a little programming area so we can write short programs or not so short programs that tell the board what to do. Now, the things that you can do with this board right now with no add-ons are fairly limited. There are 3 LEDs, and this happens to be LED 1. LED means light emitting diode. So in this case, this short program basically says we're going to set an interval of 500 milliseconds, which is half a second, and we're going to turn the light on and off, on and not on. So what we're going to do is we're going to connect, and this is Espruino board, we're going to connect here, and we are now connected. So what we're going to do is we're going to try this out. LED1.write, we're going to say true, and you can see that the light came on, and we can do the same thing, turn it off. The same thing works for the other 2 LEDs. And one thing to keep in mind is JavaScript is a loosely typed language. That means that it will sometimes coerce your values into what it expects. In this case, 1 and true are the same value, or 0 and false. So you'll see sometimes true, false, 1, 0, and they effectively mean the same thing for things that accept a Boolean value, which is a true, false value. So with us having connected to the board here, we can turn the lights on and off, but we can do even more than that. We can send a short program to the board with this button right here. It says send to Espruino. So when we send this program that runs every 500 milliseconds, we're turning the light on and off. I think that's pretty cool. In the next video, we're going to talk about the buttons and listening for events, which JavaScript happens to be very good at listening to events. So go get yourself an Espruino and start playing.